Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Eclipse Cathedral.
Crackum!
We aren't quite starting with what we have here today, as a very special, important member of our trio here is absent. So we will instead be starting with the night before. After the whole group breaks up, and well, Sirius just kind of disappears, and everyone's setting up to bed down for the night. Elijah's just kind of standing in the darkened hallway and not really knowing what to do with himself. Xalbaer.
Yeah, I was thinking and processing and went, oh crap, that's where Xalbaer would come in, huh? And then I didn't say anything. Coffee hasn't hit me yet. Yeah, I figure by this point Xalbaer has wandered into, well, I guess it's not really the Hare room anymore.
No, as you had opened the room and looked inside, you could see that it is now a library, complete with hidden alcoves, which appear to have some sort of cozy place to sit.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That'll make sleeping a little bit more comfortable. Is there any sign of what the room was before? Perhaps a plushie?
So you can, as you look around the room, you can see the pedestal with the setting changed to blue. And sitting right by the pedestal is the Hare's plushie that you had gotten for him.
Well, Xalbaer will wander on over that way. And pick up the plushie and be like, do you said a library?
Mm-hmm.
Can he tell what language the books are written in if he wanders over?
Yes, so some of the books appear, let's see, what languages do you know?
Great question.
I know one of them's Sylvan.
Yeah. None of these papers are helpful. Hang on, I don't have Roll20 up or anything. Liam woke up. I believe Sylvan, Leonin, and Common are the only ones he speaks. I have it written down somewhere.
So
I am a dingus? Yeah. Common, Growlix, Leonin, and Sylvan.
So you can't understand any of these, so you have to assume that it's written in a language that you don't know.
Interesting. He makes a mental note to get the other science people that may know other languages in here at a later date. He doesn't figure there's any books with pictures in them for him to muddle his way through.
No, any of the ones that have pictures in them are few and far between. And you're having a hard time getting the context of what the pictures might be. And as you're putting some of the books back, the door behind you opens. And in comes Elijah, who just looks over at the books curiously.
He's gonna do. Well, he's got his hands full. he's probably got the plush tucked under one arm at this point and is holding whatever book he has in one hand and like flipping the pages with the other.
Mm-hmm.
So the hand that he's flipping the pages with, he'll do an awkward like wave, like "Hi there," and then like awkwardly look back at the book.
Elijah looks up and kind of awkwardly waves back. Hi.
Hello.
He just kind of comes up beside you and looks at the books, tilts his head. A lot of these titles are written in Celestial.
That explains why I can't read it. Can you read them?
Yeah. Learned Celestial, back in the order. It's important. Just reaches up and picks one up and takes it down and flips a little through it. Mm.
Anything? Oh, go ahead.
This one, this one seems to be a record. What's, I guess, of the creation of this place. That's weird.
Ooh. Is there a table anywhere in the room?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next to, situated in, like, an alcove, there's a table.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Xalbaer will gesture to like hold up the like shut the book that he was holding and like gesture for a exchange of books.
Mm-hmm.
Like trade me.
Oh, Elijah's gonna look and then trade the books over, and then open the one he now has.
Mm-hmm. Xalbaer will wander over and put the book he's now holding on the table and come back and pull out a random book.
This one seems to be a some sort of, I don't know, talk about this plane called the Plane of Dreams, I guess. Yeah, this one seems to be a kind of like a book report.
Does it say who wrote it?
Elijah flips to the front and runs a finger along the only, like, actual what clearly could be a name.
Mm-hmm.
Says Validus. Can't say I know that much about planes though, so.
I know a bit more about the ones that fly than the dimensional ones, unfortunately.
Ones that fly?
Yes.
Elijah just kind of closes the book and tilts his head to the side, and his very long ears flop over as he looks at you.
Sorry, give me just a second. The raccoon has entered the arena. Would Xalbaer... Okay. Einquell. Planes. Are they common or are they like chartered?
So, in Einquell, planes are, like film, relatively new. But anyone who's lived in Einquell at least for a year would know that planes exist. The ones you're talking about. Elijah clearly hasn't got a clue as to what you're talking about.
Gotcha. This is a very important note. Planes as in machines that allow people to fly from one location to another.
Elijah's ears just kind of pop right up into the air above his head, like, whoa.
Blowing people's minds with transportation. A talk with Xalbaer. We had to explain trains to Sirius.
Look, there aren't any trains in D&D world, okay?
Yeah. It's entirely valid. I just think it's funny that it keeps being Xalbaer explaining it, and it's like, oh. It's amazing.
Wow, so there are even things that cause people to fly without, I don't know, any sort of, is it magic?
Science. Which, to be fair, it's said that magic is just science we don't understand yet, and this cathedral is full of scientists and magic. And at a point, it becomes indistinguishable. I know in my studies, there are times where I cursed it to be magic, and it's just science. Honestly, my goal was one day to make it to the moon.
Oh.
So there's been a few setbacks, but I still have hope.
And just the thought of even... And he still has the book in his hand. He gestures towards the sky of even touching one of the heavenly bodies. That's wow.
Just gotta get enough momentum.
He puts the book back on the shelf and looks at some of the other ones.
Xalbaer will hand him the one that he pulled off the shelf earlier, just kind of absent-mindedly.
He opens it and kind of absent-mindedly flips through a few of the pages. And his eyebrows just kind of wrinkle inwards and forwards. I think this might be something. Seems like notes, but I can't really understand it.
Notes on what?
I don't know. And he shows you the book, and it pretty much looks like you accidentally picked up Dextion's grimoire.
Okay.
It's full of equations and notes. Of course, all in a language you can't understand.
Oh, that's just mean.
But you can recognize that it looks like it could be someone's grimoire. Like, because you've probably at one point seen Daxton's grimoire open and seen a single page, and you can't understand what's on it because you're not a wizard. But you can recognize what it is.
The similarities are uncanny. Xalbaer will gesture to take it back and say, "This looks familiar."
Oh? Here. Just hands it back.
Xalbaer will flip through it and look for anything that may... Oh, I'm trying to think. That may look familiar, I guess? Like anything like in particular, and he probably wouldn't have a lot of experience, but anything that particularly stands out.
Okay, roll me Arcana.
Kinda.
So you're looking through the book for anything that seems familiar, and a lot of it just kind of swims on the page, like it's trying to keep you from understanding it.
Rude.
Yes, very rude. You're flipping through the pages trying to find something that seems familiar, and you look at one of the equations and it seems kind of familiar. You're not entirely sure though, besides the fact that you can't read it.
I can't read any of this, but I will check with someone who can.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. And Xalbaer will wander over and put it on the table next to the other book.
Elijah's just gonna probably mildly drift after him.
He will turn towards Elijah and hold the plushie out towards Elijah and say, "This is yours."
He looks at the plushie and looks up at Xalbaer. Thanks. Very carefully just takes it, looks at it for a moment.
To be fair, it was given to you when you weren't quite yourself, but it is yours.
Very carefully just kind of examines it. Starts muttering, "Oh, looks like there's a little bit of a tear here. Maybe I'll..." And he reaches into his pocket. Where's my D10? What? That's a 6. Yep. Pulls out a sewing kit. She kind of mutters as he moves over and sits down in one of the chairs.
Mm-hmm. Xalbaer will wander probably back over to the bookcase, but like not too far off from where Elijah's sitting.
Mm-hmm. And Elijah starts fixing the stuffed animal because it is coming apart a little bit.
Oh no.
Because the hair
Oh
wasn't
love.
exactly gentle with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as
Xalbaer's like,
he's sewing, so you guys just found me here?
yes. We were sent to the cathedral to investigate and look into some of the science and general going ons. And when we made it up to this floor, in our investigations, we found you.
Hmm. Wonder how I got here. Where
I
I've
would
all
ask.
gone. Hmm?
Say again.
Oh, he murmured.
Oh, gotcha. Um, we would ask the one of the cathedral, but they're a little busy at the minute. So maybe when they've had a nap.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Guess that's what I'm doing tomorrow then.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow would be better.
It's pretty late outside, isn't it?
Is it?
I
Time
mean,
time is a little off at the minute.
Elijah just kind of glances up and uses the hand holding the needle and points up. And if you look up, there's a stained glass window that is not letting in any light because there is no light to let in.
So Bear doesn't trust that that's the right place that the glass goes out. Zalbear's seen some things. He knows things go wonky. He could go in a room and it could be noon, and he could come out and it could be 2:30, and it could be 2 in the morning. Time is only as real as we allow it to be here. And if you take a nap, sometimes you wake up feeling like you slept for a century, and sometimes you actually did. So
uh. I kind of feel like I've been asleep for a century.
do you
And
know
haven't
what?
slept at all. Do I know what?
Yeah. Do you perchance know maybe? Well, honestly, do you know what was going on like last year? Remember maybe what year it was as well?
So Elijah thinks for a moment as he's sewing. So there had been. Right, that's right. There was someone outside the walls. And they were tearing a hole in reality, something like that, and letting the darkness through. And we were trying to, oh, the Order of the Light was trying to keep the dark creatures out of the city while someone was taking them somewhere else. Keep them safe. I was one of the youngest paladins there, but I just graduated. I made sure that my adoptive brother Victor was safe. I locked the door behind me so he wouldn't get hurt before leaving the temple. And just as I leave, there's this loud sound, like the wall had come down and shadow creatures were pouring into the streets. We didn't have a lot of time. Everything kind of got blurry as I was fighting. I hope the royal family made it out okay.
Which royal family would that be?
Okay, hold on a minute as I find my notes, because he would know, and my brain is suddenly blanking.
Yeah.
The royal family of Xalbaer, Xalbaer is a kingdom, and the well, Cygnus family had they had ruled Xalbaer for generations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that much about history. Wasn't really that much into those kinds of books.
Valid. I'm not sure how much history I could be called upon to remember myself. I will ask. Well, that depends on believing that time is real and counting it. Do you know when this would have been? Perhaps so we can find out how long you've been here?
Going to roll history for him, even though he doesn't have proficiency in it, but it's a +1. So let's see if he can
Mm-hmm.
figure it
That's what
out.
Xalbaer has. They're doing great.
Huh, that's not bad. That's a 15 +1.
Hey.
So he thinks for a moment.
Oh.
How long ago was that? I think I was consumed for maybe an actual century or two. I oh, what year is it now?
Great question. Would Xalbaer know what year it is in Einquell terms?
That is a good question.
We're gonna do. I'm
Roll a
gonna be
history check.
We're doing great. We're asking the wrong questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I figure he would have kept counting by like Nicodrana's terms, but after a bit it gets a little wonky, and then it becomes a how long has it been since we've been here kind of thing.
So it seems that Xalbaer actually pretty well knows. Probably heard someone discussing the year. So it's like 201 PE or post erasure.
I don't know what erasure means, but
so Xalbaer
like
would know that the erasure was an event that happened in Einquell that literally wiped everything clean. As in, there's no history before the erasure happened.
Oh. Clean slate. Great term. Gotcha. So, I really hope this guy isn't that old, and I really hope Victor Bull is not that old, but I don't know enough about curse you, lack of knowledge. Xalbaer will inform him of this 201 PE.
PE. I don't know what that means.
Post erasure.
What's an erasure? Man, I feel like I don't even know how far I am from home.
Also a great question. I'm not as familiar with this particular area as some may be. But I'm sure if we ask around, there's like 7 dozen people in the cathedral right now. I'm sure someone can get you some answers.
Just kind of slowly nods. Yeah, that would be nice.
If nothing else, it may be that someone's knowledge exceeds mine and has potentially heard of these things, but I'm not sure. I've only been here for a handful of years, so I've picked some things up, but you know.
I hope Victor's all right.
I was gonna say, Heart, would Victor? I don't know if it was just Victor or Victor Vol that was said, but would Xalbaer have an indication of who that might be?
Elijah has only been calling him Victor at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't. There are a ton of Victors.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably even like a town full of them in Einquell somewhere.
Oh, that would be
Victorville.
amazing. Victorville. Victorville! Oh God, I want to go to Victorville now. That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
Xalbaer will make sure he's turned to face Elijah and tell him, I'm sure we can find you answers. Maybe either depending on how long you were here, perhaps Victor is still out there. I don't know necessarily how tunes work, but I know tunes tend to last a lot longer than us real kind.
Yeah,
So
Victor's from here, Einquell, so.
perfect. There should be some kind of record. There may be some kind of record that we can find, or perhaps someone who can lead us in the right direction. You know.
Certainly hope so.
At the very least, someone may have some indication of time.
I get the feeling that maybe it's has something to do with those plans the Arcanists kept talking about.
Any one of them in particular, or just
I I I don't know, like I said, but I have a bad feeling because I'm remembering Victor saying that Einquell was not anywhere near Squire.
ah, I understand the feeling.
Or anywhere on Phoenix uh, at all.
um, um, what would Xalbaer know which plane Nicodranus and Exandria are on?
So Xalbaer would know that the material plane is actually populated by numerous worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and Exandria is one world. Zatori is another.
Gotcha. Okay. Uh, yep. Yep. There are I can do words. Um have you eaten recently?
Um, Not after. No, probably not.
Ah, okay. Is Elijah still working on the plushie?
So you look down and he seems like he's almost done.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, he doesn't have a hammer space. I was like, okay, what could he have in his hammer space?
What does he have in his saddlebags?
I figured he'd have at least a little bit of snack, but if Elijah is working on the plushie, he will hold off. Instead, he will just kind of nod and say, when you're finished with your repairs there, we should make sure you get something to eat before we rest.
I'm almost done. It's just a little. I don't want the little arm to come off.
Yeah, I have plenty of patience. You are doing just fine. I just wanted to make sure. It's been one of those days where everything kind of all happened, and we're still running around figuring out exactly what happened, but a lot has happened, and that's one of the things I know my scientists tend to forget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There. All finished. He leans forward and like bites the thread to sever it.
Mm-hmm.
And carefully puts away the sewing kit.
Do you have any dietary restrictions?
I
Anything?
don't think so. He looks like he's trying to think, and his eyes are just narrowing further and further and further into pinpricks.
Oh no. Xalbaer doesn't have an EpiPen, and in his experience, the only thing the Hare has eaten has been a key sword, and that's not on the menu. So he's covering all the bases. Um. All right. If nothing else, we can find out what is in the kitchen, and if anything is appealing, or your brain in the back says, "No, don't eat that. You may die." You know. Sometimes that happens.
Well, I don't remember any sort of problem like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, well, kinda grew up at the temple, so
Mm-hmm.
basically eat whatever you can.
Valid. All right. Well, I'm not sure what all they would have had at the temple and what all we have here, to be fair. But if as we suspect a different plane, then who knows what food may be the same or different. So let me tell you, getting a good cup of coffee on this plane has not been the easiest.
Elijah just kind of hops to his feet. Uh, very springy motion. Boing.
Boing. How do you feel about apple juice?
I haven't had apple juice in a while. You have apple juice? And Elijah seems very excited now. The stuffed animal has disappeared in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Xalbaer will reach back into his saddlebags and pull out a box of apple juice. Not apply juice, but apple juice. I gotta make that clear for the folks. and he'll hand it over to Elijah. Apple juice.
Thanks. Elijah takes it and just kind of looks at it for a moment and figures out how it works. Just kind of sticks the straw in and sips and just big toothy smile. This hair is very simple, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You know, Apple juice is good stuff.
Yeah.
Xalbaer will just kind of lead him to the kitchen. I don't know if they would run into anybody in the hallways, but they'd probably step over Vexus's legs at least.
Where is Vexus sleeping? Gosh.
Vexus is asleep in front of the lab, last I heard.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you do see someone, but it's Valence, and he disappears into like the tube room before you can even like. You just catch sight of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Taking notes. Xalbaer, do they pass by the tube room on their way to the kitchen?
Nope. The kitchen you can get through to the resting room. Yes, I know it's non-Euclidean geometry. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I haven't looked at my notes for where everything is located, so you would fool me.
I know where things are connected. I don't know what it looks like in 3D space.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very
you can
valid.
get to the kitchen through the resting room.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay.
Yep, it's in the same wall as the door to the control room.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. In that case, Xalbaer will just nod his head and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Yeah, Vexus is probably asleep by this point. Because you guys did take a while in the library just like looking at books and conversating quietly.
Mm-hmm. Somehow less awkward and more awkward than I thought it would be. You know.
Yeah.
Looks like
Elijah has shoved his rather large hands into the pockets of his jacket as he follows along behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And you open the door into the resting room, which actually slides, so it slides both of you into the resting room.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people here are asleep, except for Laura, who's stubborn and sitting in the corner just glaring at everyone. And she glares at you as you walk in.
He will stick his tongue out, but make it a blep instead.
She doesn't give you any sort of positive reaction to this.
That's fine. I figured it wouldn't be. That was. It's all good. There's no hard feelings, right? Right. We're good.
And here are the sleeping forms of Roderick, Choo-Choo Kid, who seems to be half on the back of Roderick and half on Lincoln's lap.
Mm-hmm.
All spread eagled. Alexa is also close to Lincoln, I believe. And Laura in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling is also in here, but he's his bedroll is closer to the giant fuck off wall.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's far away from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Grumpy pants. Got it.
As you're walking to the kitchen, you can see that Sterling actually seems to be having some sort of nightmare. Because he's tossing and turning.
Mm,
Elijah glances over at the wall and then back to Xalbaer. Do you know what's through there?
Xalbaer will pause and make a thinking face and then say, "Would you like to find out?"
You know, I'm pretty curious. It's got the symbol of the light on it.
Mm-hmm. I've been through, but I'm curious. That is my natural state. And Xalbaer will start walking over to Sterling, who's by the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and very gently with a front paw, because he doesn't know if Sterling's the kind to come out of a nightmare swinging, but
Mm-hmm.
he will very gently with his front left paw, not his hand, his paw, reach out and poke roughly where the ribs would be.
And as you poke Sterling, he startles awake and his arm flies up.
Mm-hmm.
What? Xalbaer.
Xalbaer's got his hands up so Sterling can see he's not doing nothing. And we'll say, "Yeah, you okay?"
I was asleep. Why'd you wake me up?
We can call that sleep. Seemed a little unrestful, but
Uh,
okay.
just looks a little puzzled for a moment.
You're welcome to go back to sleep.
Just blinks and looks around. Elijah just kind of gives a short wave. Like, hello.
Hello.
It's probably getting closer and closer to being late night.
Mm-hmm. Like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Xalbaer's a college kid.
Yeah, he's good.
um.
He's fine.
Uh, I don't. I'm gonna try going back to sleep. Says Sterling, and he just kind of lays back down, but he doesn't close his eyes and just kind of stares up at the ceiling.
You know what? Fair. We'll leave you be. Hopefully you get some rest.
I hope so too.
And mhm. uh, and Xalbaer will turn back towards Elijah and kind of gesture towards the wall.
Elijah's just gonna kind of nod and move around Sterling and toward up to stand right in front of it.
Xalbaer will walk on through.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
How's it looking in
Elijah,
there?
um,
Oh.
so as you walk through, and there's a as Elijah comes through with you,
Mm-hmm.
you see not a dragon, but a person sleeping on the blankets and pillows. Their long green hair is just kind of spilling over the edge of the dais and down the stairs. It's very long.
Mm-hmm. They've been dragging nap. Let him bing.
Elijah looks over and tilts his head curiously. I'm gonna have to have Elijah roll me a history check.
Mm-hmm.
For he who reasons.
Yoo-hoo.
Wow, that's a 9. +1 is a 10. So Elijah is staring at the person laying down. They kind of look familiar, but I don't recognize them. Who are they?
Great question. They're the purpose for the cathedral. The cathedral is aimed towards finding a way to wake them up.
Huh. Well, no wonder the light barrier's here to protect them.
There's also the keeper of the cathedral, but she's having a nap at the minute. It's she had a long day.
Honestly, I don't even know what's going on. It kind of seemed like everyone sitting in that circle was having a long day.
Yeah, we started the day with. Oh, was that just a day? How many days has it been? Xalbaer starts doing the math on his fingers. How many days? Oh, that's great.
So, everything that happened in Eclipse Cathedral has been just one day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a very long day.
The minutes keep coming and they don't stop coming. Yeah, it's the cathedral has a tendency to temporarily store memories outside of your own mind, and you're supposed to get them back at the end of the ride, but sometimes things happen and there's some there's quite a bit going on here and moving parts, and we started the day off with myself and my scientists and our order members, and now we have visitors, and our boss was here on and off. It's been yeah. Hopefully a good rest will reset and more chaos will happen tomorrow.
I don't doubt that. Elijah walks towards the stairs just to get a better look, and that's half cocked. Ow. That's cocked again. What the frick? Roll correctly. That's a 2. Okay. 2 for a total of 4.
Oh.
And Elijah lifts his foot and then pauses, and it looks like he's trying to move forward to like step onto the bottom step. And he's not.
Oh no.
And
Is
after a
Xalbaer...
minute, he just kind of puts his foot down and looks puzzled at the stairs.
The stairs said no, not today.
Well, that's certainly interesting. It's almost as if there's a wall here.
A second one, and Xalbaer will walk forward as well to see what this wall is.
Are you going to try to step up on the first step?
Yeah.
Roll me a wisdom save, please.
Oh, we love those. We love those. 14.
So you're able to step up onto the first step, but it feels like you're starting to move like molasses as you start climbing the steps. I need you to make me another wisdom save as you get about 3 steps up.
For curiosity.
And you can't go any further. It's like your muscles are locking up.
He will stop trying to go forward at that point and be like, I see what you're talking about.
Elijah looks a little upwards at you and just kind of nods. Yeah.
Good to know that there is a secondary defense. We were only aware of the wall, I believe. The light wall, not this wall.
Yeah. That one's the more obvious one, so.
Very bright and shiny.
I know the clerics back at the temple always put multiple wards, protections on things that people really shouldn't have their hands on. So it makes sense.
How far is Xalbaer from my brain just broke. How far is Xalbaer from the top of the stairs?
So Xalbaer is 5 stairs up. There are 13 stairs because I like the number 13. And of course there are 13 stairs.
Gotcha. He'll turn around and come back down them.
Yeah, you're as you turn around, your muscles release. You're able to walk back down the stairs.
I'll just stand there and talk with Elijah. Are as close as you were able to get, did that help you any in potentially seeing if you remember this person?
No, I can't really see their face. Not really.
How tall is the ceiling in this room?
It's very tall. So you know those classic like cathedral rooms? It's kind of like that. It looks kind of like that. So very tall ceilings. There's pretty stained glass in each of the windows. One of the windows has a floating like city in darkness. In the stained glass.
Would you be comfortable with me perhaps lifting you up so that you may see? I'm not sure if it will help any, but
I don't really mind. As long as you can lift me up.
I'll have you know, I am a barbarian. I can do many things.
Elijah just kind of tilts his head to the side and his ears cocked. Oh, that's a challenge.
Xalbaer also gets advantage on lifting things.
Yep.
Xalbaer. God bless.
Roll me that athletics at advantage.
It's a roll, so it's not a save.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Xalbaer, you immediately go over to how do you pick him up?
My thought process was under the armpits and then like put him on Xalbaer's shoulders.
Oh, okay.
He can just pick him up under the arms as well.
So as you very easily pick Elijah up, actually specifically, you notice that he's not as heavy as someone his size would be. Like he's filled with stuffing.
Why? Why are all of these squishy people?
And Elijah's like, whoa, oh, okay,
Amazing.
and he's now on top of your shoulders, and I'm just gonna roll at advantage and see if you get this history check.
I just realized that in the process of doing this, they had a Simba moment.
Yes! It's the circle of life! Huh, hey, a 15 is much better than a 10.
Hey.
And, as he's sitting on your shoulders, he's kind of just craning his neck. Oh. Huh. I used to see that kid. Well, they look older than a kid now, but I used to see that kid all the time, just kind of walking around the temple.
As a kid, were they part of the temple or just around? Do you think?
No, they were just around, and I never really went up and talked to them, but like, I didn't know anybody else like them. They were pretty unique.
Hmm. Alright. But you do recognize them as someone of your time and place.
Yeah, I think one of the neighborhoods called them Gale once.
Interesting. Well, a name is good. That should help us find answers,
Yeah.
or at least know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And perhaps that explains a little of how you came to be here as well. If you're both of the Temple of Light, perhaps something happened there and you both ended up here.
You know, that's a good question. That's a good idea. Something happened to Squire, definitely. I wouldn't have fallen to darkness if nothing had happened to Squire.
True.
It's just weird. I don't know. Elijah just kind of shrugs.
Xalbaer will lift Elijah back onto the floor.
He kind of bounces on the balls of his feet a little bit before relaxing.
Briny. Tigger over here.
Look, he's a hare.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just funny because that's what I keep imagining. It's just the way Tigger bounces around. Perfect. Xalbaer has connected the dots. I will ask, didn't you say that one of the books in the room was something about the creation of the cathedral? Perhaps there's some answers in that.
Oh, yeah, we can, after getting a snack, we could go back and look through it.
Yes.
Before
Not
going
to forget to
sleep.
Yeah.
And Elijah turns around and starts heading back towards the big light wall.
Xalbaer is following.
The name on that book was Rain Wanderpath. Never really heard that name before.
I don't believe I have either.
And Elijah pauses and looks back around the room and points at a sign just kind of hanging to the left of one of the windows. The sign says... Let's see, where is it? It's pinned. The sign says, "Here is heresy horseshit." And Elijah says, "So why is that there?"
It was an attempt to make the cathedral more like home.
Funny. And I think, unfortunately, we'd have to wrap this up here. Oh, boy.
I wasn't sure if we had enough time. I figured they'd get a snack and wander back, and we can sum up the book before they take a nap. But
yeah.
if we don't have time.
Well, I'm looking at Snail, who's still not online, unfortunately. So they get a snack. Basically, like I described on Friday from today, out here in the real world, there isn't much in there. And you just kind of cobble something together.
They gotta get groceries delivered, I guess.
They gotta get groceries. And you head back, and Elijah starts translating the book for you. And it seems like a very ritualistic process to have literally grown the Eclipse Cathedral. Like, the book, the notes, which is what these are, describes how Rain Wanderpath took a seed and planted it in between the two disparate mountains. And Elisha pauses for a moment and says, "Wait, I've been to those mountains. The disparate mountains. That's actually the name of it. It's it's not that far from the capital of Xalbaer."
Oh. As far as I know, we're in Timeless Hollow. Like, the cathedral is currently within the Timeless Hollow, so it could be that...
Timeless Hollow was a really small town, like, on the edge of the kingdom of Xalbaer. It's been there for really long time. Ages.
Have I mentioned how time is fake, and also how planes are wibbly wobbly?
Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around that. And you continue to get information from this book, and it does tell a little bit about how Rain Wonderpath literally grew the town, like the buildings in the town as well. Of Timeless Hollow.
Okay. I would love to know what kind of seed collection Rain had. Because I can just grow tomatoes, but you know.
I
So
don't know either, but what it seems like the light gave it to her.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this concludes part 1 of Eclipse Cathedral, the Supro Forest, in which we do not go to the Supro Forest, but we just have a conversation. Because Snail is still not here.
Yeah.
So we still cannot continue. I do think we should stop recording now and just hang out. Alright, see us next time for part 2 of Eclipse Cathedral, the Supro Forest, where we actually go somewhere. Bye!
Bye!